Is the new iPhone 13 in cinematic mode poised to replace even the most expensive full-frame 4K mirrorless camera? No, it isn't. But it's a lot closer in this iteration than it's been so far. My name is Nicholas Johnson and this is the Space Warehouse. This shot is being recorded through the telephoto lens on my new iPhone 13 Pro Max in cinematic mode. Unfortunately, and I'm not sure which component leads to this limitation, but in cinematic mode you can only shoot at 1080p and only specifically 30 frames per second. Not less, not more. And considering Apple has their own television studios now, that's just an odd thing they did. But you compare this to the iPhone 12 and this looks like it was shot on a phone. Where this, the 13, at least at first glance, looks like it might have been shot on a full-frame camera and maybe you just didn't understand the export settings in Final Cut Pro. The camera's hardware has been improved, the sensor can take in a lot more light, and that's great. In fact, they improved it just enough to where my old case won't fit on my new phone because the camera bump is sticking out just a little further than it used to. Clever move, Apple. While in cinematic mode, the iPhone doesn't give you access to any of the individual camera settings. I know I could make this picture look better. When I play it back, I can tell they're going really heavy on the ISO for some reason. Even though I've got a bunch of light in here, it's pretty grainy. And in addition to having no control over the settings, it's only pushing out a 13 megabits per second stream. My Sony a7S III, in contrast, is shooting at 100 megabits per second, just for reference. And using the same phone with the same camera through the regular video mode, it's much clearer. So it's not the camera or the lens itself, it must just be all the processing that has to happen to make this happen that's making this such low quality. When you use the wide camera, the 1x camera on the iPhone 13, the picture quality does improve a little bit. It's a 26mm equivalent. I'm just not a fan of such a wide shot for this particular purpose, talking to the camera. It's too close. I will say that it's a neat trick that without a cameraman, I can point back here to all this Nikon stuff and say, look at all this stuff I'm about to start selling. And then after the video's shot, I can tell the phone when to change the focus to which thing. That's pretty great. I took my dog for a walk this morning, and without exaggerating at all, I can quite literally say this thing looks like it's on a gimbal. I mean, I'm shooting this while holding a leash in my other hand and bending down really awkwardly to try to be lower to the ground, and I'm taking steps the whole time, and the thing kind of just looks like it's on a dolly rolling forward. That sensor shift and whatever combination of other things they're using for stabilization it's really incredible. So the technology's not quite ready yet. The resolution is not good enough yet, and what the heck with 30 frames per second? Also, it's not like if this did look as good or nearly as good, it's not like this would be a low budget alternative to a camera. I mean, this phone, the way I have it configured, is $1,400. But you're gonna have some phone, and I get it. It's a lot easier to carry this around with you than one of these, for instance. I'm quite sure we're about to see a lot more poorly cut out headphone bokeh on the Instagram Reels starting this month. I'll bet that with enough hardware processing and clever software tricks, I'll bet this shot on the iPhone 17 will be indistinguishable from the Sony a7S III. It's pretty cool though. Heats up your phone though. Goodbye.